I call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Soliano will be joining us. Commissioner, Secretary Notar, Jill Notar Pesco is here. Vice Chair Chuck Wilcox, Commissioner Kristen Bono, Commissioner Jackie Prask, myself, and Commissioner Von Dossel. Okay, is there any comments from the public? We'll do live audience first. Jackie, can you tell me yours, right? It's just Tom.
It's just Tom.
Okay. Anyone in the virtual audience?
No
No.
hands raised.
Thank you. We'll move to correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence?
I wanted to ask a question about, I've received some emails about the implementation of speed bumps on certain roads in town. How does that work and how do I instruct people to go about that? Petitioning for that?
So we can assess it. Speed bumps are really difficult to install, and it has to be like an ideal location with no residences around. They're very noisy. So we just had one of the beach communities, I went down last month and they wanted to assess for speed bumps and explain that how loud and how noisy it was gonna be, and it probably wasn't their ideal location. And they reverse course and they didn't want that. So we're gonna look at some additional signage, some updating some signs, things like that. There's other things we could do to try to slow people down, as opposed to the speed bumps. I mean, it really would have to be an absolute ideal location to put a speed bump in. And even then, they would have to be probably removable, like the seasonal speed bumps, because the plows and everything else that goes along with them. So, I tend to discourage residents, because there is a place and time, but it's rare.
Okay. Okay, they were specifically referencing Connolly, which is a throughway, an active throughway during rush hour, people cutting through town, getting to 154.
Yeah.
And that there's a excessive amount of speeding there. So
We do have some other options. The state gave us two more of those digital speed signs. There's no enforcement attached to them. It's just the flashing speed is your speed. And
yeah,
it does give us some data from the road too. So we can assess that. We can put those up. They could be temporary, permanent, wherever we want. But it also gives us the data that, the average speed, time of day, and we can start enforcement based on that data.
oh, cool, okay.
So it's
Is
definitely,
there anything I need to do further or,
so whoever the citizen is, you can just have them email me,
okay,
and then I'll go out there, I'll address it, see what options we have for them.
awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any correspondences? The only thing I have to say is I know Jill has received it and I've received it. There's people that are requesting patches from the town. I don't know if anyone got that. I personally, and I talked to the chief, I don't think it's a good idea. The chief was concerned with people, they take them and sell them on eBay. My concern is that people sometimes try to impersonate police officers and don't do the right thing. So I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think we disregard those messages.
Well, I disregarded it simply because it just seemed odd. Like a phishing kind of email.
I interpreted it.
So,
I said mine to
I-
Harry.
yeah,
Okay, so you guys all got it then.
Yeah, there's not many of those that would actually send a patch out to. A rare occurrence would be, I've seen, children with cancer and, like law enforcement, and they're doing patch collections for those. And I have sent to those for those purposes, but I do vet it and make sure that's where it's going. But the vast majority, I would say we're not gonna be sending any patches out.
Any other correspondences? Okay, moving on. I entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the November 24th regular meeting.
so moved.
Second,
Any discussion?
I actually have a discussion, in the minutes versus the online YouTube video. How are the minutes and the video corresponding? Are they title for title in a subject matter, or is it just the minutes are more of an overview of what we're discussing here?
Well, I would say that they're an overview, that basically it's the agenda items are the heading, and then it crunches down to the conversation.
Okay,
And it's not a verbatim minutes.
no, that I knew.
That's great.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just
Okay,
conversational.
thank you. Jen, do you have to add anything to that, or you're good with that explanation?
No, it's, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, extensions? Okay, so passed. Okay, moving on to executive reports, we'll let the chief take over, and we'll, after each item, if there's questions, you guys can ask us.
We'll move on to the executive reports.
Yes.
So to start with, item A, the operating budget for current operating budget 25-26 fiscal year. You're referring to the field services accounts first. The one that starts with account 51610. And I'm just gonna, kind of speak of some of the things that stand out to me. If anybody has any questions or want me to slow down, please let me know. We'll address each line item as they come up. First, I just want to speak to the regular employee salaries on the very first line item. And the available budget there is $1,583,376. We're tracking accurately with there. We do have 2 vacancies still. We have the captain position vacant, and we have 1 entry-level police officer position vacant. So, minus the stipends that we are paying out of this account as well, we're probably tracking it in excess of $150,000 for the year for surplus. The next line item is the vacation day coverage. This account was budgeted for $284,000, 180. Year to date, we expended $42,253 so far, which gives us available $241,924. That account, it's tough to project that one, because a lot of our vacation day coverage will probably be coming in the spring and the early months of the summer. But the average weekly expense for that should be about $5,000, $5,400 roughly. By doing that math, we're at 24 weeks into the year, starting on July 1st. So we are well under budget on that account. I'm projecting probably at least an $80,000 surplus there. The reason I say that is because there's some accounts that we are going over it. And I wanted to show that, where we're finding the money to balance these accounts and why we are going to be in a negative at the end of the year as a whole. The additional hours, we're almost expended all of the overtime expenses for additional hours. That's typically if an officer stays over for an hour or so, or has to get held over to complete a case, whether it be a missing person or domestic or something they have to stay with. I'm not too concerned. We're only down to $2,000 left for that year for that account, but because I have that surplus in the vacation day coverage and projected surplus, we're going to balance out just fine there. All the other accounts are the same way. We're tracking correctly on the expenditures, except when we get down to some of the defined contributions and some of the benefit packages that we're paying out. That's more on the finance end and less on our expenditures. So there's really not much I can do about those accounts, but I still think we are going to balance okay in the field services. Moving on to support services. It's the page starting with account 51610. I'll speak to the regular employees support services account, a budget for $607,335 originally. That account, we're going to have a surplus again based on a vacancy. We currently have 1 dispatcher vacancy and we're anticipating a second, so we'll be operating with 2 vacancies there. That being said, we are paying per diem employees to cover those shifts, so you will see in probably excessive spending on the overtime side as opposed to the salary side. But the positive there is when we do hire the per diem part-time employees, it's at regular rate and not overtime rate, so it's not time and a half. So there is a savings there. I know you will see through the accounts are already in the negative, the additional hours and professional development. But with the vacancies and the salary line item, I think we're gonna have plenty and we'll be able to balance the budget without any issues there as well, based on that surplus and the employees' salaries. And then moving on to the general expenditures page. This is the page starting with account 52700. You'll see several accounts in the negative on this page, and we've been speaking to this every meeting. A lot of these overages, especially if we look at the purchase professional services and legal services, has to do with some of our legal expenses, for some of our internal affairs investigations that we had to do, and some of the public safety consultant fees, the background fee, a lot of administrative fees attached to this that the board had approved. Those that put us in the negative, but you know, again, I'm not worried about surplus. The vehicle account, the repairs and maintenance account, it's 54300. You'll see it's in negative $8,779. It's only $1,000. Budgeted for $15,000. This is what we repair our cars with. We've been using Grossman Chevrolet for most of our repairs. This also accounts for tires. We have to buy tires for all the vehicles out of this account. With the age of our vehicles and them not being under warranty, $15,000 probably isn't a realistic number to expect. But I did talk to First Selectman Fortuna about this and the fuel account. And because of the outside job revenue that comes in, we do balance these budgets at the end of the year with the revenue that comes in from the extra duty jobs. So that's typically what they do. They're okay with them going a little negative now, but they will be balanced by the end of the year. And they understand that there is going to be some overages based on the maintenance of the cars at this point. That goes with fuel and the repairs of the cars. That's all I have. Operating budget. Okay. The off budget account summary. So actually I skipped, I'm sorry. So I'll speak to item B, the budget process update. So last week, I did meet with First Selectman Fortuna and Finance Director Palladino. Presented our proposed budget to them. And we accounted for all contractual obligations within our proposal. The non-contractual requests that we are asking for are really going to be mainly increase in professional development in the vehicles and boat motors, which will be the capital expenditures and outside job revenue expenditures. The big ask in the upcoming budget, which you will as soon as it's ready for proof and gone through the process, produce a copy to use shortly. It's going to be professional development, both on the expenditure side and on the overtime side, because we have to pay the officers for the training. There is some, we have to get all up to speed on our sure. So the EMT status are also, we only have 5 officers that are actually certified as EMTs. They're all required contractually to obtain that level of service accreditation certification. within 3 years of their employment. We're getting very close to that number on a lot of our employees. And we have to start that training, so that's something I had to account for in the budget, and there's other professional development things that I want to bring to the department as well. It's not gonna be a huge increase number, but just let me know what that is, and I'll address it in the presentation.
Is there a dollar figure for officers for the EMT training?
You know what the first is?
There is, and.
Ballpark it?
It's a lot. I mean, when I did it, it was like $500. So I know. Maybe $2,000, it's like all the tests and everything,
I'm sorry, how much?
$2,000 per person.
Yeah, sir.
Where is that held? Like, do you use a service to provide the training?
So we have some options. I think that the easiest thing to do is to bring a service to us. You know, 'cause we're probably gonna be trying to train 6 officers at a time.
Okay,
Think we can bring someone to us and train in-house. And, you know, do the practicals and everything, you know, in-house, and then there's ambulance hours required, right?
So, yeah, it's not very long, and we could do that here in town too, or somewhere busier, it depends. But yes, it is about $1,500 plus all the tests and everything, so it could be up to $2,000 per person.
So it's costing each other, and we're not trying to do 25 officers for 1 year, but we did have the budget to do, you know, 6, 7 officers.
A well worthwhile expense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of the big feathers in our cap as a police department here is that we are first responders, medical first responders. I think the level of service we're providing the community by doing that, and the time that we were able to get people treated, is amazing.
Life saving.
It really, yes, exactly, it has. The officers are, you know, they're very competent, and, you know, I'm very, very pleased to see what we're doing out there. You know, FD, I couldn't be more pleased with them and the service and the willingness they have. But ultimately, we're the ones in the street, and we're the ones, you know, a minute, 2 minutes away from every call. So we need to have that expertise, and that's where we're gonna get to. So, moving on to the off budget accounts.
We'll
Yes,
move on to those. Did anybody have any questions on the operating budget? I know you answered a ton of.
sorry.
No, you're good. You gave it to us a ton of information, and you're thinking maybe next week for us to have the budget? The coming up 26, 27?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll look at that, right?
Mhm.
It's done. We were just kind of putting some
Okay.
finally touches on it. We had to go back and forth, with the finance director a little bit with some of the benefits, costs. Just kind of iron those down first.
Okay.
Cause there was some adjustments based on, what her expenses were, for our benefit packages.
I had a basic question. A lot of these items sound to me like they're duplicative. Some of them have a zero budget amount, and then, you know, then it shows up again somewhere else where I guess that's where the real dollars are.
Yeah.
Have you talked with Leanne about, you know, neatening that up?
So yeah, that is one thing you're gonna see. We're, you know, Carl uses the term of right sizing the budget. And I couldn't agree more, because I couldn't, inheriting this, I was so confused, you know. Why the electric bill isn't completely covered, but we have money somewhere else to cover the electric bill. Things like that, it was just, you know, crazy to me, and we're right sizing the budget, so you'll see increases. But really, all we're doing is balancing out, you know, we're not asking for more money in essence, we're just telling you what our expense on each liability is and what we spent the previous year. And that's what we're gonna ask for the electric bill to be, as opposed to just taking it from somewhere else. So you'll see a lot of that, you'll see some movement. We're consolidating some of the overtime accounts, or all the overtime accounts, into one overtime account. So you won't see, you know, the vacation coverage, the sick coverage, the additional hours. It's gonna be one item, so we can track it a lot easier. You'll know what the number is. You know, and we'll have the background for how we're accounting for that number, based on the contractual obligations and the coverage we need. But it's gonna be, I think we're gonna simplify it a little bit, and we're gonna ask to fund the liabilities the way that they need to be funded, without asking for any huge increases.
Workers' comp budget, we had a lot of that usage this year. Are you gonna try to put the same amount for that we had last year because of the?
So we get those numbers from Leanne. She tells us what it reflects, what, you know, what essentially she needs us to budget for. But we did move that around a little bit. I think we came up with one item, one line item for workers' comp as opposed to three different ones, right?
No, it's the two. It's
The
gonna,
two.
yeah, it used to be the one, and Leanne requested that instead of in general expenditures, it's gonna be under field services and support services where it should be. So that'll be a difference too.
So we're just trying to make sense of it a little bit, make it a little easier for us too, to be honest. So we can back the money, kind of exactly know where it's supposed to be spent. So,
Well, you have to do it in a way that you're comfortable with it and working with it going forward.
right.
So,
And, Finance has been amazing. They've been really supportive, in that endeavor. So, yeah, I think it'll be good what we present, and I think it'll make sense to everybody. So it will probably in the coming week, we'll have that to you. So be ironing out those numbers. If you have any questions on that, I'll move on to all budget account summary. Really not much in the all budget accounts. There really wasn't much movement, but I did want to address two things on here. Not so much movement in the money, but my anticipation of spending the money. And I will be coming to you, in the coming months for these expenditures. We are asking for vehicles, in the capital expense for the coming year. And as opposed to asking for the entire vehicle to be outfitted and all the equipment to come out of capital, I want to use some of our off budget account funds to offset some of that cost. And two of the things that I'm going to be asking for you to consider we need 6 new vehicle radar units in the cars. And a fund that we can use for that is a driver safety fund. It's about a $21,000 expense. We're currently at $56,000 in that account. So I will be coming to you asking to use $21,000 of those funds for new radar units and 6 of the new vehicles that we will be getting in July, or ordering in July, getting in the fiscal year of next. The same thing for the police K9. There's $14,000 in that account. We'll be asking for a substantial amount, probably about $12,000 of those funds to outfit a new K9 vehicle, which is barely running right now. So we need that, and this mainly equipment is what that is. Well, it's all equipment, but it's vehicle equipment. And it's consistent with how we've used those funds in the past. So they're not really asking for anything that we haven't done or that I'm not, going out on a limb for it or. So I think they're reasonable requests, but I'll present them to you. And they don't have anything to speak of on the driver safety of fund account detail, but if anybody wanted to speak to it, that'd be fine. Okay. Personnel matters. So we got a few things going on. So we had the torchlight parade in the last torchlight parade, the Heroes Tree Lighting, and the Starlight Festival in the last 2 weeks. And it was a significant amount of overtime expenditures with those, but it was very successful. All the events went off without a hitch. Very minor issues, mainly traffic complaints and one minor incident at the torchlight. But really nothing to write home about, nothing that even raises an eyebrow. I couldn't have been more pleased with the professionalism and discipline our officers displayed at all these events in the cold weather, and really just maintaining their composure and being professionals out there and providing the level of safety that I expected. And it was great to see. The events were all well attended by the public, and it was the torchlight was my first time at the torchlight. It was fun. My family came, and it was definitely a fun event, and I hope it continues, and they'll have our support. As you see outside, we are directing some additional patrols based on some of the national occurrences going on right now with the active shooter incidences in Australia and in Providence. So you see some extra presence outside of menorah lighting tonight, and we will continue those upon request and where we see that we need to enhance public safety for both the security and the make people feel better, essentially. Yeah. I have been we undertook interview of every officer within the last month that I've had, and dispatcher, really essentially every employee in the building. Purposes of that was for me to get to know the officers, for me to review their files, their personnel, their IA files, their training files. And just get a understanding of who these officers are and what they need from me and how I can develop them. So at the conclusion of that, we had a staff meeting and I gave my professional development recommendations to our staff, Lieutenant Leonardo. And we are gonna, in this coming year, gonna be implementing some of those suggestions and some of the requests from officers for training. I think it's great for morale, but it's also great for our professional development and for the professionalism of our officers and the level that they produce.
Did you notice a trend in the professional development that the officers kind of all rallied around, or was it individual?
So no, so I anticipated that. So I figured, some of our younger officers are gonna be, tactics heavy and K9 and SWAT and all this stuff. And that's not what I found. So they're all their own people and they're all individuals and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And they have their own interests, most importantly. I found a lot of interest in motor vehicle enforcement. I found a lot of motor in accident investigation, reconstruction, leadership development, some tactical stuff that they brought to me that they thought that they weren't proficient enough at, which I thought was great because I wanted those weaknesses. K9 is one of the things they came up with from our younger officers, Marine Patrol, peer support. Officer wellness, one of the sergeants wanted us to get involved in officer wellness. So really, it was, every officer definitely stood on their own 2 feet and let me know who they are and what they want. And, I think everybody has a cog here. And, it was refreshing actually. And we're gonna start undertaking that. It's gonna take a little while. Can't snap my fingers and get everybody trained overnight, but as I find the appropriate training, I will do it, and I think it's great for morale, but it's also more importantly good for our retention. If we're developing our officers based on their interests and our needs, I think in turn they want to serve this community, they want to be part of the department, and they feel fulfilled.
Good.
So,
Well, thank you for that.
what else I have to cover? Professional developments. I'm gonna turn it over to you in a minute. You can talk about some of that. But this is a personnel matter to a degree. It's something that was spoke about in the PERF report and was a point of contention for a lot of our employees that I spoke to when I did the interviews. It was the promotional process or lack thereof, a consistent promotional process in the department. So I'm undertaking that as a special project to try to, I'm meeting with the union executive board. And we're gonna have initial discussions about what they think that promotional process should look like. And, what rules are we gonna follow? How long are they good for? Is there a rule of 3? Is there a rule of 5? Is there a rule of 1 in terms of candidates in the room interviewing in front of you? Do they want written testing, oral board testing? I'm going to take their input. It's going to be, and essentially, I think what I'd like to boil down to is a steadfast set of rules of the process. Exactly, fair and transparent. Yeah, and the existence of a process essentially. So I would like to get down to an MOU, and make sure within the town charter and the police commission rules. But I'd like to get that tackled and really start moving forward on a definitive promotional process that the union can get behind and the officers can feel like that they're fair and they know how the process works and how to be promoted here.
I'm very excited about that.
So I'll give you updates. I have our meeting tomorrow. I think everybody's pretty excited about that, and I'm gonna let the union first present some ideas and proposals. I'm gonna digest that and I'll start working towards a resolution and I'll bring that to you. So leadership development, Lieutenant Millardo and Detective Sergeant Williams have both completed the FBI Lead a Trilogy program. It's a three-part leadership development program consisting of Supervisory Leadership Institute. That's one week's course. And then it's the Command Leadership Institute. It's another week. And the third week, the final week, is Executive Leadership Institute. They both completed all three. They're very difficult classes. Not everybody gets through them. And it's definitely great for their careers and their resumes and, you know, our department to have them both undertaking that. Gonna let Lieutenant Millardo speak to some of our professional development in-house from our in-service training and some things we have going on and updating us on the hero schedule progress, if you will. The hero scheduler is our software that we're trying to implement for the scheduling of the officers.
So, and we're gonna roll that out in January. We have it. We have everyone put into this system. So I just want to make sure I'm a little bit more familiar with it and work through it more, to kind of roll this out. And we're gonna, I kind of think, start off slow just by putting the schedule in, still doing things, having it the old school way, having the paper just in case someone forgets about it. But I think it's gonna be really great. It looks very similar to our schedule now, except it can be updated. Not necessarily in real time, right then and there, but pretty quickly. So you know when you're working, when your schedule changes, you get a notification and it's all in the hands of your cell phone. Because a lot of time, things will pop up or people take days off and have to come in and you're not getting that update unless you're taking another picture of the scheduling board. So this is gonna be great for officers. I think everyone's gonna really enjoy it and we're pretty excited.
Is this going to integrate with payroll?
So it could. I know payroll, things are changing with the new laws that the Trump administration did and things are a little bit different too. So I think they're working through that. So I think that would be good to see what they come up with too. And I know they can scheduling spreadsheets, Excel sheets. That might be easy to provide to them.
We're working towards that and with Amy from finance. And then the big beautiful bill happened and the tax exemption is making it a little more difficult. So we have to track when the hours are over 40 and they have to develop some software to go along with that. So we know when they're tax exempt, essentially. So that was, it might be a slight delay because based on the overtime. But the scheduling itself, the officer scheduling, we can get going and the overtime, the payroll piece will be lagging behind a little bit until they can get the updates.
And just in connection with scheduling, will this include vacations and how far in advance will they know that?
Yes, so that's all in our contract too with vacations and we put out the schedule 2 months in advance. And in our contract, depending on how many days you're asking for, it says when you have to put that in. So that's all in there. And everyone gets notified pretty quickly. So I don't think we should have any issues with that.
But I'm just remembering this was one of the perf recommendations and I'm sure we hadn't forgotten about it.
Yeah, no, we're tracking there.
Yeah.
That might require some changes in the contractual language. But I think the biggest thing is officers want to know when they're scheduled, so they can see a full 2 months out as opposed to week to week. They can see when they have plan. Exactly, easier plan, yep.
So when does the request for vacations?
So
So like in July 1st, is that like where you guys begin and everyone gets it and the most senior people?
no, so if you put in your vacation, the schedule's not put out, it's put out for like 2 months. So you're not gonna know if you have that vacation until the schedule is posted. And that's always how it's been, but it's very rare that anyone's vacation is denied. It's not.
Can you foreshadow the vacation? So say you put in for vacation in February, so that's, or March,
Mhm.
so you're beyond the 2 month calendar date. But won't it populate that if it's approved, or you have to wait until
So
February?
we have never we've always posted schedule for 2 months. We've never gone after that. So that could be something we talk about, but that's not something that we.
So it's always been a manual schedule, so
Right.
just a calendar on a wall. With the software, we can, we can develop our own rules now, where we don't have to have a year worth of schedules at all. Where we could entertain that. If
So is
also-
there an administrative rights to this that say you can see 3 people asked for very similar or overlap of days off? So if you populate theirs beyond the 2 months,
Mhm.
you'll know immediately that 3 people have asked for this time off.
Mhm.
Will it allow you, does it red flag you? Like what type of software enhancements does it provide for you?
I think that's gonna be more on us as opposed to the software. But like Renee was referring to, a lot of agencies have a set date in like July, say July 1st, you have to have your request for extended vacations in. And then you assess those based on seniority for the entire year. So I would probably go to system, something like that. Whereas if for extended vacation, if it's a day off here and there, we don't need to do something like that, but if somebody's asking for 5 days or more off. Set a date on the calendar that you need to have your request in, and then it will be marked by seniority, gets approved for that week first. It doesn't mean 2 employees can't get it, but it just means, at a certain point, we can't give everybody a day. And this employee with the most seniority will get it first.
So I know this is a totally different area, but my husband worked for the post office and they literally would get a book from the union. And you knew your schedule for the entire year because every week your day off bumped forward one. So one week would be off Monday, the next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you'd get a Friday and a Saturday. So this system can't make a schedule based on the 4.
No, it can. It can do
Okay,
that. It's just per our contract, we only have the schedule for 2 months, so
Okay.
that can be changed, but that's what our contract states.
okay.
And
this-
we do shift bids every 6 months too.
Okay, so then my other question, when Chubb asked about the payroll, with the town system, they log in and then they can see what they have like for vacation, personal, sick time.
Yeah, that will be there.
Is that gonna be part of the scheduling or is that gonna be on the payroll side?
So that will be scheduling. You'll know how much vacation
Okay.
time you have on the scheduling.
Yeah, it's part of the accruals.
Okay,
They have all the accruals at the time.
Do you think you could provide us with like a demonstration so we could have a visual of what you're speaking to?
I think we could probably throw up on a screen and play with it with you and just show you exactly.
Yeah, I think
how it
that would
works.
be
so
helpful.
yeah,
Maybe next meeting.
Yeah, we do that.
it's Hero, HERO, like.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Sorry, I didn't know if I heard that right. Does anyone have any questions on that?
And it does say like, the employees who work a 4-day on, 2-day off schedule shall submit any vacation requests for 4 or more days at least 2 months in advance of the posting of the respective work schedule. Employees who work a 5-day on, 2-day off schedule shall submit any vacation requests for 5 or more days at least 2 months in advance of the posting of their respective work schedule. Such notice requirements may be waived by the department administration for good cause.
But say like you're gonna get married in 8 months, can you put in for that now?
So people can put in, like,
Okay.
so we do paper sheets right now and people
Okay.
can put in, I had someone put in for, it was funny, for like next July. I'm like, I
Okay.
don't even have that folder yet.
Okay.
But they put in for it. So I have it, it states the date they submitted it. So we do
Okay.
have that. Mhm. And then like sometimes, every sergeant wanted Christmas off or the whole week and we can't give everyone the day off. So a lot of times send it out. Hey, can we make this work? And we kind of come together as a group and figure things out.
I have to say, Chief Mosca used to do this, and I mean, I don't really know how it's gonna work with, I don't know who has kids and who doesn't have kids. But a lot of times, the people with children would have Christmas Day off, and the people who didn't had New Year's Eve. So
Okay.
they could go out, but then the other people could be with their kids. You know, if there's any way to kind of like,
Usually work
Yeah.
amongst themselves.
okay, yeah,
That's less of something I can direct and more.
no, exactly. But you know what I mean? It's kind of a nice thought,
It
that,
is,
you know.
but then I feel bad for the person that doesn't have kids, that literally always has to work every holiday.
That's what I
And
do.
so, but then there's usually someone that wants it or understands, or maybe a different holiday, but we've been pretty good working it out with each other, which is nice.
Well, I'm
We
excited
work
for this
very
new
well
system
together.
because I think just even, there was lots of complaints about people would say they couldn't get their time, so I think this is gonna be good, and I do definitely want Jackie's request, we'll do a presentation
And I don't
on
think
that.
there's any issues when someone puts in a day. They're usually advised that day
Oh, okay,
if they have, like, if
Okay,
they get it off
perfect.
or not. I usually am pretty quick to.
And
answer that.
this will be a little easy. They can see when they're putting the day in, they can kind of get an understanding of how many employees are on, how many are already requested it off. So when they're asking for the day off, they can see, all right, 4 employees have already asked for this day off. They kind of know that they're not
they're
gonna
not
get it.
together, okay.
So they kind of weed through it themselves a little bit too.
Thank you for doing the demo.
Exactly, right. You know, explain it too. Is that what, like, professional?
So Chief Onofrio with Detective Sergeant Williams and Executive Assistant Tomato went to the CPCA Winter Conference. So that was a great professional development where you learn about policy management, accountability. That's the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. We had 2 more officers, Master Sergeant DeMarco and Officer Moriarty, attend the traffic incident management class. So now all patrol officers on the road have that course under their belt. We had FN 303 training with Master Sergeant DeMarco was now recertified and Sergeant Giacone became an instructor for the FN 303, which is the less lethal launcher that we all have in our vehicles. Officer Henry went to ARIDE, which is the Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement class. And then talking about the toy drive, we had 2 weekends at Walmart. We got so many donations. We dropped it all off today and sorted all the toys out, whole room full of toys. A picture should probably be on social media. It might be on already. And we're doing the toy giveaway on the 18th with Youth and Family Services. So it's been really great.
And we did open the lobby today and tonight and tomorrow, for a warming shelter, just based on the governor's proclamation. The severe winter conditions right now. Come Tuesday, Wednesday, it looks like, or Wednesday, the weather's gonna change and probably won't be a need to continue that, but if anybody has anybody that need, the lobby is the warming shelter for the next 48 hours or so.
Is that on social media?
We're actually working on putting on, it probably is there already, but
Okay.
that's one of the things I asked late in the day, we put out there.
Do you coordinate those efforts like with the fire department and the ambulance so that they could spread that information
Yep.
as well?
So, yeah, I mean, I could call the public safety leadership team. It's the ambulance service, the fire, board of ed, youth and family.
Oh, that's great.
You know, it's essentially, it's a group thread. There's probably 30 people on it, and I just let them know what we're doing and why. So they all have the information as of this afternoon.
I just have something about professional development.
Yes, please.
With the, once we get through second in command, we're gonna be looking for a new lieutenant. Do we have, like, I just heard, Sergeant Giacone's name mentioned, but Sergeant Giacone, Sergeant Mikowski, are they like doing any of this FBI stuff or anything? I mean, they're pretty senior sergeants, I'm just wondering.
They haven't showed interest in it, but I
Okay.
think getting both leadership training.
Okay,
Sergeant Giacone does a lot of training.
mhm,
His interests are a little different,
okay,
but if he wanted to do it, I would absolutely let him do it.
okay,
Mikowski is more oriented towards officer wellness.
okay,
That seems to be where he's tracking peer support, things like that. I think that falls in his background a little more.
okay,
But honestly, any of the sergeants that, in time, I would send them all. It's
Okay.
really a worthwhile endeavor. There's also a command college that they call it, the FBI Command College in the spring. It's a 3-day course, which I think, which actually might be something we send Giacone and Mikowski to, because they didn't do the leader yet, but definitely not sending them, it's.
does one have to happen before the other?
So yeah, you supposed to do an order, right? The leaders?
I think you should do them in order, but you do not need to.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
So I think that's all for a professional development update, unless there's any other questions. And then the activity reports. So it was a great month. Really, you look at the stats, everything is essentially trending down for December. Um,
Not just because we're only 10 days in.
no, trying to take into account what we had and, trying to average it out. Um, but, we were tracking well when I compare it to the previous year, the 2024. What's really standing out to me, and I wanna,
Okay, John.
well, I don't really see any sense of going back to the 2024 stats. This is really just for comparison purposes. So where I'm on is the traffic and motor vehicle enforcement page. Well, to point something out. So your total motor vehicle enforcement, and one of our biggest complaints or concerns I get in town is speeding and reckless drivers, distracted drivers. So our citizens are screaming for it, and they want us to be stopping speeders and really trying to put an impact on unsafe driving in town. If you look at our motor vehicle enforcement, to date, we have 3,066 motor vehicle stops. Out of that 3,066 motor vehicle stops, 85%, 1,839 warnings were given out. So that means that we aren't heavy-handed. We're stopping cars, we're speaking to the operators, we're trying to discourage behavior, but we're not unjustly citing people. We're trying to be fair. So 85% of the stops are getting a warning of some degree, whether they're written warning or verbal warning. So that was a great stat. But when you look at the comparison from 2024, the total motor vehicle stops, we have 1,227 additional stops this year. So we have 1,000 more stops, about 25% increase at least, to actually 1/3 increase. I just, hats off to the officers out there that are listening to what we're telling them as command staff, citizen complaints, they're listening to the public, and they're responding and they're doing the job proactively and fair and just and without a heavy hand. I don't want our department having some, reputation that we're just pulling over everybody and giving tickets and abusing the public, if you will, to a degree. Because that's not what we're doing out there. We're out there making people aware, letting them know we're out there, deterring the behavior and educating the public is 85% of what we're doing. Of course, there's that 15% that deserves a ticket or deserves some other type of action against them. And those actions are usually caused by either behavior or something so egregious that we have to act or unsafe. And then in that same context, we had 22 arrests for DUIs this year, which is a great number. Officers out there and they're getting the drunk drivers, the unsafe behavior off the street. And hopefully word getting out on that one. That's when I want the word to get out that, we're stopping cars in Old Saybrook and we're getting drunks off the street. I want that reputation, that's for sure. Then I had, not to go through the stat by stat, but I just had some highlights of things that occurred on the last month and a half or so, really month. And these are some things that kind of, raised some eyebrows in town and some things that, made social media or made the paper. We had a couple of we had a boat theft and a boat attempt at a boat theft. One in Indian Town on Whitney Ave and another attempted on North Cove. We haven't recovered the one boat that was stolen. The second was an attempt, but we do have a suspect and we are working on a warrant, and that case is going to come to a resolution with an arrest. We had a series of smash and grab car break-ins at Town Park on Schoolhouse Road and at the Saybrook Junction parking lot. Two arrest warrants have been submitted to court for those. And that's, hats off to the detectives and the officers working those cases. Those are tough cases to work. Usually you don't have much to go on. They really used DNA on some of the recovered items and the vehicles that they tried to break into, and get arrest warrants for 2 people, which is great. I mean, the clearance is awesome on that. Detective Sergeant Williams did a rather intensive statewide racketeering case stemming from 2 thefts of high-end vehicles at the GMC dealership in town in February. He took the case and investigated it and kind of saw some trends nationally, identified a perpetrator. And just in Connecticut, there's $700,000 in losses to Connecticut victims, mostly car dealerships that they were stealing these cars from, and about $2.3 million nationally. We were only able to prosecute the Connecticut cases, but we were able to refer our information to the other states so they can prosecute it on their own and get arrest warrants. Arrest warrant has been approved for a national extradition on a person that is the marshals are going to be arresting shortly. There was a fatal motor vehicle accident on Thanksgiving morning on Schoolhouse Road, which was investigated by Officer Moriarty. Right?
You would see, yeah.
Officer Moriarty, who was one of the officers that's interested in accident reconstruction. He's taken 2 of the 3 phases from reconstruction school. So he's investigating that. Was a motor vehicle, it was a motorcycle, 1 car, 1 vehicle accident, but unfortunately the operator did pass. We did get two commercial burglaries, one at the Enterprise Rental Car dealership, and another one is Oceanside Auto. Both investigated and arrests were made that night with the assistance of Connecticut State Police and Guilford Police after we put out some information, and they were able to locate the suspects and resulted in a pursuit and apprehension. Those were really the highlights that I really wanted to let you know about, because some of these things did raise some eyebrows, and I wanted to make sure you guys had some answers to some of these questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all we have for activity report. Unless you have anything to add, Lieutenant?
I forgot to mention, we did for professional development, Sergeant Ciccone, you mentioned him. He was the instructor for the use of force class. And so all officers had their mandatory training for the year.
Thank you.
So we do in-house training too, which also saves a lot of money when our own officers are instructors, because we could teach it during the course of while we're working.
I have a quick question on motor vehicle enforcement, just a clarification. What is the category town tag?
So that'd be like parking ticket. You can give that for handicap parking on a sidewalk.
But it would be a
parking.
town
It's an ordinance
Yeah.
violation.
as opposed to a ticket that goes to the state.
Yeah, so I mean, some of those things we can go either way with. We can either do an ordinance violation as a parking ticket, or we can do a centralized infraction, state infraction. Obviously, if we do a town ordinance violation, the money comes to the town.
Yeah, no, that's what, just
I
curious.
got a quick question. How did those signs work out for the parade that you had made?
So I think some people complied, some people didn't. But I think the business owners were happy. They were happy that we, took their suggestions and concerns and addressed it. It's one of those things where you're never gonna make everybody happy in that situation, but we did the best we could. We put the signs out, we ordered about 100 of them. And I think it did help the businesses, at least keep some of the parking spaces vacant for their customers. So Mark's referring to the Torchlight Parade Day. Business owners on Main Street asked us to put up no parking signs until 4 p.m. because what was happening is cars would park there all day. They get there in the morning to get their parking space, and they take up all the parking spaces for the businesses for the entire day. So we're trying to help them out, prevent that. And,
Did you have to give any tickets out?
My intention wasn't to really give any tickets, and it was kind of a non-enforceable thing.
I see.
But the intention was to try to get people to respect the businesses.
Yeah.
At least make them feel guilty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a question. Under the list of the data on the police services, What would be considered item number 122 miscellaneous? What would that be? Because that number kind of starts in the 20s, trends up to 40, and then so far in December, it dropped to 7.
Oh, you're talking about the activity?
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's my mistake. I
Something
didn't
that.
identify the report from them.
Two. Miscellaneous activity. What do we usually call miscellaneous for?
Basically, it's the misfit where nothing fits into it. Trying to think of something that I would put under that.
Yeah, it's an interesting category and it's the most populated every single month. With the exception of public service.
We'll have to talk to the dispatchers and kind of get back to you next month on that,
Okay,
how that's being used. Because that is a good question. You know, what are we putting in there? Because I couldn't tell you either.
okay. Well, that's great. Thank you.
You just have to ask them, I mean, you know, we gotta.
Yeah, it's right on I get the little thing right there.
We did, you know, the suggestion from the police commission, we are sending out thank you letters, for people that send in donations. Just want to pass this around. This is a gentleman, Keith, Margada. Sent in a, donation and it was applied to the police uniform and awards fund, on his request. Just wanted to send that around.
He made a donation, he said he made it to the uniform. He put that in that letter he wanted in the.
I think we had to call, so we had to call sometime and ask. So we gotta figure out where they want. A lot of times it's undesignated, but we have to go ask. Cause we don't really have an idea unless they tell us. A lot of times, usually the dog people will probably know us and take it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we probably like
People don't know the name of the vehicle. So when you, right. So I did call and see for that.
That's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
We've been in this way for both generations.
We get a lot of Christmas cards too.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed receiving the Christmas card in the mail, so I appreciate
Well,
that.
the department's been getting a lot.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, I mean, a lot of, positive ones from the community.
Good.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, that's circulated. Anybody else have questions on the activity report?
No. Thank you, Lee.
The Google 4901, like on pounding instead. Well, I wish that's out, so we're going to use them.
Yeah, because we don't.
Yeah, so. Europe said
I'm very,
34.
but cheers was again.
Here's my numbers. There's my name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not my favorite.
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing.
I can fill you in on that later.
Yeah.
Just one quick thing. You had touched on the boat before. Do you want to wait about the end of the thing until it comes to the budget presentation?
You know, I think we're probably gonna act on that. You know, I gotta bring it to the first selectman or finance board, but, our plan with the boat, just so everybody knows, the boat is requires, some replacement of the motors. the service life was done on the both motors. The boat's been inspected and it is, seaworthy. We had to have the wells inspected and we had to have some general maintenance done and, some repairs. What was the pump? Some pump or some pump?
Yeah.
Some pump replaced. Bilge pump.
Something like that.
Yeah, bilge pump. But so we did some general maintenance to it. We had it inspected and it's in very good shape. So what it does need is motors. We did get some quotes for some motors and we're gonna get 3, so we have the appropriate, bids, before we make a decision on who we're selecting to buy them from. But we, as opposed to asking for capital or operating budget funds, what we do have is some revenue funds that are coming in on the, off budget, what is it, the job account called?
The ONG job,
Yeah,
the fund,
yeah.
the outside services.
Outside services fund, which is revenue that comes in from the extra duty services, especially when we use the boat for the ONG job, which we did quite a bit this summer. There's $52,000 in that account right now. Additional quote for the boat replacement, the labor parts is about 71,000. So by the time the boat by the time July comes, we're gonna have more than enough to do the motors. We probably will be asking to do it this winter, so the boat is ready to go. But any funds we use will be replaced by the revenue source that's coming in from the extra duty jobs.
Are they
So,
requesting that we still have the boat in the water, or is it coming out and being winterized, or?
It's,
yeah, it's winterized.
So it's out.
Yeah, it's out. So we took it out in, well, first week of December, right?
last week.
Yeah, so we took it out. We did send it out for the, what was the event?
The light in the breakwater.
The breakwater lake.
Okay.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Middle.
So we sent it out for that. That was the last time it was in the water. We took it out, winterized it.
Do you know if the town has a projection from ONG about the extent of their future use?
Well, the project's 4 years.
Well, yeah, but it's my understanding that the reason they needed it was because of the work they were doing on those barges that were erecting the towers
Yeah,
for the wires. That work is done. I wondered if there was something else in the pipeline that we would expect that revenue to continue next year.
yeah, I mean, from our conversations, it was gonna continue throughout the summer, next summer. I don't anticipate it really ending anytime soon. But you're right, once they're up overhead and they're not in the water anymore, there probably isn't much need. But the barges are there, and the barges are there for a while.
Yeah, but it was a personnel issue because there were people going up and down in those lifts.
Yeah,
And that's why they had to have the no wake zone enforced. And I just don't know if there's going to be any more work that requires it like that.
I would imagine when they get to the actual bridge construction, not just the staging stuff, I imagine they're gonna want a boat in the water. I mean, if I was working on it, I'd want one.
well, yeah, because they have the safety boat, they have their own boat out there too,
Right.
for in case anybody falls. But I did talk to the owner of ONG, he sent us a very nice letter, he put our patch, on the wall of headquarters and sent us photos of that, and he was a nice man. And the assumption I got from the conversation is that job is continuing for several years. Not that it was a few month project.
Okay, good.
Because they even wanted us talking to DEP to see if, because there's times where we couldn't fill it. There's times when they wanted to go out there and we just didn't have an operator, or didn't have staffing to do it. So they wanted us to be able to reach out to other agencies to see if they would cross the river and do the job when we could. So, and it's been nice to have it out there, it's a way to get the boat out and being seen and enforcing without us paying and have it out there. So, I think there's a lot of positives that come from it.
And the officers enjoy it too, so.
That's true too, yeah,
Nice break.
yeah. I think that's all we have for.
Everything for executive reports, okay. Moving on, discussion and possible action regarding the budget meeting schedule. Leanne got back to me today. I had emailed everybody. I don't know if they got that in time. But January 6th, she said would work for the Board of Finance for the initial presentation. So I don't know. I believe that's a Tuesday, if that works for everybody.
Was there a,
I think she said 6:30.
okay. So I have it in.
And then I'm thinking, we usually schedule 3 meetings total, so. You guys look at your calendars, I don't know where you're thinking, we need to have it to them by the 15th. So they're telling me. So I'm saying Tuesday the 6th, does anybody have a preference going another day in that week, or would you rather go to the beginning of the next week?
How about the 8th, Thursday?
Okay, so we got Tuesday the 6th, Thursday the 8th,
Maybe Monday the 12th.
and Monday the 12th.
Chief, will you be getting the draft of that in front of us before the 6th?
He said next week.
Yeah, we'll have it. Did we finalize the numbers?
The numbers are finalized.
Yeah, we probably over tomorrow then, right?
Yeah, as long as everything's
And
reviewed, I'd say probably, what's tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd say probably.
Yeah, we should want to have Leanne review the numbers that she gave us to make sure that she's okay with everything that's in there.
But we can expect it this week.
I think so, yeah.
So what time are we doing it on the 8th and the 12th, at 6:30?
Well, that's what we're talking about it, so what does everybody think?
I'll be here if Kathy's okay.
We just have to check room availability, but
Is everyone, if the room is available, is everyone good for 6:30 or would you prefer 6? Or does anybody have an opinion either way?
Why don't we keep it at 6:30?
Okay. I just didn't know at that time of the year, if, you know, either or.
Chief, do those days work for you?
Yes, yep.
So 6, 8, 12.
6, 8, 12.
On the 6th, is that at 6 p.m.?
That's at 6:30 is what Leanne said. If it's gonna be different, I'll let everybody know. I don't expect a 3-hour meeting for that. So I think 6:30, if that's what she says, will work. So I entertain a motion to set the budget meeting schedule as January 6th, January 8th, and January 12th at 6:30.
So moved.
Rooms to be determined.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions. Okay. Next item is discussion of possible action to form a search committee for the selection of the captain position. I entertain a motion to create this search committee, including the entire police commission, the chief of police, and it's not listed on here, but I'm adding Selectman Carl Fortuna.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay, next item, discussion regarding the executive goals of the chief of police. I'm gonna ask Jill or Chubb to speak about this. They had requested
Can I
this.
just have
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
a comment? When we're saying discussion, that's just something superficial, no deep dive?
This is not a deep dive.
Okay, so it's just a superficial conversation.
It's an introduction, really.
Okay,
Why don't you take the goals and I'll take the other one? The evaluation. Until you do this one.
oh, goals. In the past, we've had an evaluation protocol that's never been observed. One of the things that typically goes into an annual evaluation is the executive goals that the chief of the department has in mind. We contemplated that it would be good after you've gotten your legs under yourself for a few months on the job, if you would give thought to 3 or 4 goals that you'd like to present or suggest for the commission to approve. So that when we get near the end of the year, we have not only our standard protocol, but your goals, and we can then measure how your performance is to them. And by goals, we're not thinking about, 8, 10, 12, we're thinking like 3 or 4.
Right, and those that are achievable, that.
Yeah, this
Yeah, we
mark.
understand that goals could be budget related and.
Yes, that's right.
Achieve those goals.
Right. No, I can do that. I understand, you need a benchmark and you need to kind of understand what my vision is and where what I'm tracking, what I'm trying to accomplish. I can easily do that for you.
so are we asking that these goals be presented by what date? Because you mentioned,
I'm thinking like after he's been in the saddle for 4 months, 5 months or so maybe
Yeah, I can
March.
present them to the next commission meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
see, and I would think that that would probably be easy for you to do. I mean,
Yeah, it's not,
you've been thinking about what you want to
I know
do.
where I'm tracking already.
Yeah.
So this is easy.
It's not a big ask.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'd be happy.
Because I'm just thinking you're 76 days into being the chief and
Yeah.
here we are asking for this. Do you need the time as
No, I
Judge
think the next-
graciously offered?
I think the January meeting, the police mission meeting, I could present that.
Okay, as long as you're comfortable with
Yeah, no,
that.
I am.
Okay,
And I think it gives me, some vision too. And, you know, a little bit of focus, if you will.
okay.
So I think it's a positive thing.
great.
And may I move on to the evaluation?
go ahead.
Okay, the purpose of this agenda item was solely just to frame an initial conversation and possibly outline a timeline of, you know, how we would move forward with an eventual evaluation. I sent a draft document around to everyone, yesterday. And that document was developed by an ad hoc committee of the police commission. And in early 2023, the full police commission agreed on using this tool for an evaluation. The basis of that document is a self-evaluation by the chief based on performance, measurable goals, and then followed with input from the police commission. That was kind of the foundation for it. And I guess at a later date, in a few months, the commission can discuss and decide if this tool will still work for our purposes, or if we have to look at another alternative. I mean, you might even have an alternative that you used previously that you could offer if you think it's a little bit more suitable. I know so has a very generic type of evaluation for their department heads. So these are just options, and this was one suggestion in just throwing it out to start the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I reviewed it. I don't have really any issues with what I see here.
Okay.
I think it covers a lot of what I would be looking to cover and a lot of categories of what my job responsibilities are and what I should be doing. So in review of this, I don't have any issues with this is what you chose to do.
Okay, thank you.
One thing you might notice, we don't have number values. This is designed to be a conversation between you and the.
Right. Yeah.
Jackie, did you need a copy?
If you printed one.
I did, yes.
Thank you.
Kristen, do you need one?
No, I brought one.
Yes, thank you.
As far as this goes, I just want to kind of echo what Jackie said, at 76 days in, I realize we have to get this started. Most importantly, I want this to be a collaborative process between the police commission and the chief. I don't want anyone to feel like they're blindsided, and earliest this evaluation is gonna happen is gonna be October, so we do have some time. I think setting the date for the goals is good, and deciding on this instrument that we're gonna use would be the next step.
Jill, do you have to have another copy?
Sure.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I just.
I think maybe after the budget, we get through that, maybe we could visit this
Right, because we have
February,
the
March,
budget, and
March,
then
April.
We could look at this for March. or
Yeah,
even
that's what I'm
April,
thinking.
for sure.
I just said. March,
because we
April.
have the budget to get through, and then if everything goes right, the
Captain.
search committee, and we
Yeah.
have the captain thing, and Russ does 30 days, it's gonna put us in the middle of January, and then we're gonna start that process. And we have to figure out what is the most important right now, and I think getting a second in command
It's tough.
should be
priority.
better, or not better, but should be on top of that. But I mean, you guys know I had it on the list of things that I thought we should address, so. Okay, any other discussion on that?
No, thank you.
Any comment from the public? I'm gonna do this.
Are you? You're welcome.
Just scratching my head.
Oh, okay.
Well, that wasn't a code.
Larry, is everybody in the virtual audience?
No hands are raised.
Okay,
Commissioner,
yes,
we're gonna address the job announcement or the,
that's gonna be after with the search committee,
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
because we just formed that, so we'll do that.
okay.
After. Comments, geez, I just lost my place. Do you have any other comments, chief?
No,
Okay, comments from the commissioners? I'll start with Mark.
I just
work our
wanna
way around the
thank
table.
you For all the hard work the whole team did for the, like, parade, it was first time I've ever been to one. And, I thought it was great,
Yeah, me too. We had fun.
and good job with the toy drive.
I'm all set.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all set.
I have a few things. I spent some time on the police services homepage. One of the things I'd like to thank whomever noticed that, Chairman Shippey's name was mentioned twice. Chubb's name wasn't. It's now corrected, so thanks to whomever.
Thank you, because I only want one, Joe.
So whoever noticed that, I appreciate you also taking the time
Take you
to,
to jail.
okay, thank you.
I remember.
You could say that it was you, Jill. The other thing is, under community events, if possible, if there's anything that we could put starting at 2024, it seems to jump back to 22. Maybe the turkey drive, the toy drive, things that are happening at the department, would be, I think, suited there. In the swearing in ceremonies, the photos are nice. If we could add your swearing in photo, that would be nice as well. I did notice that Lieutenant Walsh, although we miss him, his photo is still there. Let's see, the House Watch Form. I'm not exactly sure how that works and how active that is. And do citizens actually respond to that? Do you get inquiries about, hey, I'm going on vacation type of thing?
We actually got those in.
Yes.
A lot has changed though too, with like the
Yeah.
ring cameras and
Yeah.
stuff.
I
I
can't
know in the
tell you
past
the
they
exact number, but as far as.
I'm
we
thinking
do-
now, because of, you know, the 6 months, it might be, I don't know if people know about that. So I don't know if that's like a social media post, or if you want to highlight that, it's just something that kind of came to mind. As for our IT person, are we still with Mr. Gardner, or we're with JFK or J?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
it's been going really smooth.
Okay,
He's full-time one day and then he's on call. Well, really accomplishing everything we need to accomplish within those hours.
okay. So if we could update that, I don't know whose name you want to put there. Maybe your name, I don't know your name, I have no idea. But that would be another just spot to fill in.
Who maintains the website?
It's a combination. Yeah.
Okay.
And under the golf registration, golf cart, there's a page down. If you scroll, it's called golf cart resolution. We could update your name on that. That would be helpful. What other things do I have? Oh, I noticed I wasn't here last month and there were employee recognition that was mentioned. I don't know if this is too big of an ask, but I think it would be nice if the commission also had a visit from whomever's being honored, just so that we also can extend our congratulations and thank you to whomever is that
Yeah.
person. I think that would be nice. Some other things. Oh, so the other thing that was brought up on the agenda, for discussion was something that I had mentioned to Chairman Shippey, but it was also mentioned in the past with other commissioners, was the committee for, correspondence. And one of the things that I'd like to include, it's strictly not a complaint, committee, or a committee that's just overseeing someone if they are suggesting something or their opinion on something. My goal was to have it be for compliments, concerns, and complaints, so that it's a collaboration of everything that's happening that a citizen wants us to know about. So that was the other thing I just wanted to highlight. And I think that's all I have at the moment.
I promise you that's coming up on a future agenda.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
want to get through the things that I
Yeah,
just
and
mentioned.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that it's strictly not solely for complaints.
Basically to follow up on everything that people wanted to
Yeah,
ask.
where it could be just a general, hey, thanks for putting the new sidewalk or the new crosswalks in, just be nice to know.
Okay, so my only comment is I think Jackie's gunning for my job because she has all her notes.
Oh,
here.
it's always take
Just thank you to everybody, for, making my first couple of meetings, I think pretty smooth, and I want everybody to have happy holidays and safe holidays. Carl,
I wish the same for the department and all of our commissioners here.
likewise.
Everyone has a good Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, happy holidays.
Yeah.
So I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there-
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
The
Opposed?
rush.
Abstention?
We're all hard.
Okay.